Morning, grade 7s. Welcome to your daily lesson of mathematics brought to you by WorksheetCloud. Hope you guys are well and looking forward to today's lesson. A reminder of the email address on your screen, grade7@worksheetcloud.com. Please send me any feedback or questions or queries, and I'll be more than happy to address those in the lessons coming up. Another reminder about the online activities and memos that you can access on WorksheetCloud.com. And we put those there for you to consolidate any of the information you've learned on the day. So please feel free to make the most of those resources. Today's schedule is time. Okay, so we're going to start looking at time today. And we'll be doing that over the next few lessons. We've got our normal warm-ups, mental arithmetic questions based on previously taught concepts, and then your brain bender and finisher at the end. So today's warm-up, the numbers have got a little bit bigger and it is a little bit more involved. So you might need to think a little bit deeper about this puzzle. Give it your best shot, press pause, and then press play to see how you guys got on. Off you go. So I actually started on the second line. And I figured out that 729 divided by 9 is going to give me 81. Okay, so 9 multiplied by 81 is going to give me 729. So how do I get 81? Through multiplying the same number, and that's going to be 9. Okay, so the second line is 9 times 9 times 9. So the wrap is equal to 9. Then I can go down to the third line and say 9 multiplied by something multiplied by 9 equals 162. I know that 9 multiplied by 9 is 81. And I know that 81 multiplied by 2 is going to give me 162. I then went to the top equation and said 2 times 2 times 2. And that's equal to 8. Okay, so the nachos on the left are 8, and I think the tacos are 2. Okay, so then we've got 2 multiplied by 8 multiplied by 9. Okay, so that's going to be 2 times 8 is 16, and 16 times 9 is quite tricky. So what about if you said 8 times 9 first is 72, and then doubled 72 to get 144. Okay, so we've spoken about this a few times. That's called the commutative property of multiplication, and that just means you can change the order of a multiplication sum to make it a little bit easier for yourself. So you'll see that the 2 times 8 times 9 repeats itself for the next two lines. So here we've got 8 times 2 times 9, okay? And that again is equal to 144. And then the last one is the same. We've got 9 times 8 times 2. And that again is equal to 144. Okay, so this puzzle's just highlighting the fact that you can change the order of multiplication sums and arrive at the same answer. And yeah, that's called the commutative property of multiplication. And that's about changing the order of the multiplication sum to make it a little bit easier for yourself. Okay, your mental arithmetic questions for today are in front of you. There are 9 questions there. Take your time. Don't rush through it. It's all about the quality. Please make sure you use the checking strategies that we have taught and that we have talked about. And then press play to see how you guys get on. Off you go. Question number 1 is the addition of decimals, and the numbers are again quite large. So we've got 490,107 and then 23,869, and we're adding, and we know that 7 and 9 is 16. We need to carry the 1, keep the decimal in the same place, carry the 1 again, and you should be left with 513,976. just from a mathematical point of view, when you have a number like 530,976, it's important to say 976 and not 513,976. It's not 976. 976 would be on the left-hand side of the decimal. So that's just a bit of mathematical accuracy for you to think about. The second question is the subtraction of decimals. So 587,15 subtract 369,64. Okay, and we need to borrow decimal in the same place. We need to borrow again. And we're left with 217,51. So now let's look at our checking strategies. So 2 and 3 make 5, yes. 1 and 6 make 7, yes. 7 and 9 make 16, yes. 5 and 6 make 11, yes. And 1 and 4 make 5, and yes, we are correct. Okay? Okay, great. Okay, 714 multiplied by 23. Okay, and we've spoken about numerous ways of doing multiplication sums. There's an odd and an even number, so you could do doubling and halving. Perhaps that will make the question easier for you. You can split it up into its various components. I'll do the column method for you today, and that will look like this. So 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 1 is 1, plus that additional one is put 4, and then 21. And then the most important part is the 0, because we're now multiplying by multiples of 10. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. And then we have 14. And then we need to add, and we just add them up. Okay, and 16,422. So let's have a look what would have happened if we had done a couple of other methods. So if we had done doubling and halving, we would have doubled 714 to 1,428. Sorry, we would have halved 714. Sorry, my apologies. So that would have been 357. And we would have had to multiply by 46. And that doesn't really make the question that much easier. So I might not have chosen that method. Okay. We could have done a split method where we would have done 700, 10, and 4. And then 20 and 3. Okay. And then we could have multiplied these numbers together. And let's have a look at how we would have got on here. So 700 times 20 is going to give me 14,000. 700 times 3 is going to give me 2,100. 10 times 20 is going to give me 200. And 4 times 20 is going to give me 80. 10 times 3 is 30. 4 times 3 is 12. Now if we add these up, here we'll have 14,280. And here we'll have 2,142. And if we add 14,280 to 2,142, so 14,000 and 2,000 will give me my 16,000. 280 plus 142, that will give me my 422. So they're both methods are correct. I actually like this split method. I don't have to carry any numbers. I don't have to remember a placeholder, and it gives me a better idea of what each number is worth. Okay, so I encourage you guys to have a look at this method. Hopefully you can understand it and use it going forward. Right, then we have a division question, and we're dividing by 2. So I'm hoping we all remember that to divide by 2, we just halve the number. But if we wanted to use a method just to make 100% sure. And we divide it by 2. 2 goes into 7 3 times, carrying the 1. 2 goes into 18 9 times, and we must have the decimal in the same place. 2 goes into 9 4 times, carry the 1. 2 goes into 10 5 times, and then 2 goes into 8 4 times. So the answer is 39,454. And if we wanted to check that, we must multiply it by 2. And if you multiply it by 2, you will end up with 78,908. Okay, question 5 is a subtraction question involving a mixed fraction or mixed number and a common fraction. So 2 1/4, subtract 2 over 3. I'm going to change that to a improper fraction. So my sum is now going to look like that. Remember, to get from 2 1/4 to 9 over 4, it's 2 times 4, and then add the 1, and we keep the original denominator. My lowest common denominator of 4 and 3 is 12. 4 goes into 12 3 times, so 3 times 9 is 27. 3 goes into 12 4 times, so 4 times 2 is 8. 27 minus 8 is going to give me 19 over 12. And that's going to be 1 and 7 over 12 if you were asked to convert that into a mixed number at the end. Okay? Our next question is written on the screen for you already. 312 divided by 10. And by now we know that when we divide by 10, the number gets one place smaller. So that will be 31,2. Okay? Question 7 is 1 over 7 divided by 2. And we know that that becomes 1 over 7 multiplied by 1 over 2. And that's going to give me 1 over 14. Okay, so just remember, when we divide fractions, the second number should be turned into a fraction if it's not like that already. Okay, 2 can be written as 2 over 1. And then the division sign gets changed to a multiply sign. And the fraction after the division sign gets inverted to 1/2. Okay, 1/5 times 6 over 7 is your question in number 8. And here we cannot simplify any numbers. So we just multiply the numerators. So 1 multiplied by 6 equals 6. And we multiply the denominators. 5 times 7 is 35. Okay, so 6 over 35. And then your last question in number 9 is to find the percentage of an amount. And again, there are a couple of ways of doing this. So 90% of 210, okay, I would find 10%, which equals 21. So to find 10%, it's just 210 divided by 10, which is quite straightforward. And then multiply it by 9 to get 90%. So 20 multiplied by 9 is 180. 1 multiplied by 9 is 9. So it is 189. Okay, the alternative method, okay, is you could have used fractions. So 90% is 90 over 100. Of is multiply, and we can write 210 as a fraction. We can simplify 90 over 100 as 9 over 10. We can then cross cancel. So 10 goes into 10 once, and into 210 goes 21 times. And now we've got 9 times 21, which is the same answer, 189. Okay, so you guys must choose which method you prefer there. Okay, guys, well done if you remembered those principles. It's good to practice these things on a regular occasion just to make it second nature. Employ the checking strategies, work slowly, and yeah, you'll find that you'll be getting these right more often than not. Okay, let's get back into our main theme for today, which is time. So the first part I wanted to look at regarding time was things that you should know already. And it's really important that you guys know and understand these conversions. You'll remember we did a measurement series a few weeks back, and it was really important. I stressed the fact that you need to be able to convert from one unit of measurement to another. Time is a unit of measurement. So I'd like you to go ahead and complete the table on the screen in front of you. Again, take your time, don't rush through it, make sure you understand your answers, and then press play to see how much you can remember from work you should have learned in previous grades. Right, off you go. Here we're back on the Jamboard, and let's go through these answers. So 1 minute, you're quite correct, is 60 seconds. Okay, so that's all good. 1 hour is 60 minutes. Okay, 1 day, 24 hours. 1 week, 7 days. 1 fortnight is 2 weeks. Okay, 1 month, this is arguable. Okay, so this is more of an estimation than an exact answer. So it's about 4 weeks. The only month that is 4 weeks is February, which is 28 days, except when it's a leap year and it has 29. So F is an estimation. 1 year is 52 weeks. Okay, there are 12 months in a year, and just talking about months, it would be really handy for you to know which months have 30 days and which have 31. 1 year is 365 days, and if we wanted to get really technical, we could say 365 and a quarter. Okay, so 1 leap year every 4 years, you add on another day, and that's why I've written the quarter there, because every 4 years, you'll have 4 quarters, and that will give you the additional day. So 366 days. 1 decade is 10 years. 1 century is 100 years. So those of you who play cricket will be able to remember that quite easily. And 1 millennium is 1,000 years. Okay? So just make sure you understand how to go from minutes to seconds. Also from seconds to minutes, hours to minutes, minutes to hours, and the same for most of those conversions. Okay. I wanted to look at decimal time periods. Okay, so quite often we hear examples, and I'm going to go through the example in the green box. It could be 1.5 hours. Now we know that 1.5 hours is 1 hour and 30 minutes, okay, because we know half of 60 is 30, so that's quite an easy example. But what if I said to you the time period was 1.65 hours? How many minutes past 1 hour would this be? Okay, so we know that 1 hour is 60 minutes, okay, so that's okay. But 0.65 hours we'd then need to work out in minutes and add it to the 60 minutes. And what we need to do there is multiply the 0.65 by 60, and that will give us a total of 39 minutes. Then we add the 60 minutes from the hour, the 39 minutes that we've worked out, we put them together, we get 99 minutes, which, as you know, is the same as 1 hour and 39 minutes. Okay, so just to recap, we multiply the decimal part by 60 to find how many minutes it represents. I'd like you to go through those 3 examples at the bottom of the page, and I've highlighted there, go through the process, and the process is indicated in the green box. So if you go and do those 3 examples, press play, and let's see how you get on. On the Jamboard to work this out, so 0.95 hours, 0 represents the hours, so there's no hours, so we need to know 0.95 times 60. Now, fortunately, we've already done a series on decimals where we included the multiplication of decimals by multiples of 10. So we should know that all we're going to do here is 0.95 times 10. Okay, so I'm splitting 60 up into 60 multiplied by 10. That's going to give me 9.5. Now I just need to go 9.5 times 6. 9 times 6 is 54. Half times 6 is 3. Put the 54 and the 3 together, and we get 57 minutes. Okay? So that is the answer for question number 1. 2, how many minutes and seconds are there in 3.82 hours? So 3.82 can be split up into 3 hours, and we know 3 hours is equal to 3 multiplied by 60 minutes, and that's going to give us 180 minutes. Okay? Then 0.82 multiplied by 60. I'm going to split the 60 up into 6 times 10. Okay? So 0.82 times 10 is 8.2. Okay? And then I need to multiply 8.2 by 6. And I'm going to go 8 multiplied by 6 is 48. 0.2 multiplied by 6 is 1.2. So I'm going to have 49.2 minutes. Okay? So I need to add 180 plus 49.2. That's going to give me 229.2 minutes. Okay? And how many seconds is that going to be? So you'd be 100% correct in saying, well, to work out how many seconds 0.2 minutes is, we do 0.2 times 60, okay? And I'm going to do 0.2 times 60 down here because there's 60 seconds in a minute. So 0.2 times 10 is 2, and 2 times 6 is 12. So that's going to give me 12 seconds. Okay, so we'll have 229 minutes and 12 seconds. Okay, so just notice there that we've had to work out both minutes and seconds, but both occasions we multiply by 60 due to the 60 minutes in an hour and 60 seconds in a minute. Okay, and then your last one, question 3, write 4 hours and 24 minutes in decimal form. So now we're going backwards. Okay, so it's always good to understand how to do both. It just shows a deeper understanding of the concept involved. So 4 hours and 24 minutes. That's going to be 4 hours and 24 over 60. Okay, if we simplify that fraction, that's going to be 4 hours and 12 over 30. If we simplify it again, that's going to be 4 hours and 6 over 15. And if we simplify that again, that's going to give us 4 hours. Dividing by 3 each time is going to be 2/5. And we know 2/5 is the same as 4 over 10. Okay, and that's going to be 4.4 hours. Okay, so we first put the minutes over 60 as a fraction. We simplify the fraction. I just halved it and then divided by 3 just so you could see how I was getting to 4 2/5. You could have divided by 12 straight away and got 2/5. That wouldn't have been a problem, but ultimately you're going to get 4.4 hours as your answer. I wanted to recap 24-hour time for you. So I've put a clock on the screen, and the numbers around the outside represent the hour times afternoon. So we know that, in the morning you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 12 p.m. And then 24-hour time, 1 p.m. is 13, 2 p.m. is 14, 3 p.m. is 15. And each time there, I'm actually just adding 12 to 1 to get 13. Add 12 to 2 to get 14, add 12 to 3 to get 15, etc. I've also included a little bit of information there as to what AM means. So AM is a Latin abbreviation for ante-meridian, and that means before midday. And PM is a Latin abbreviation for post-meridian, meaning after midday. And then there's a little table for you at the bottom just to show you how we talk about time. So there's 12-hour time, which is 9:15 a.m. in the first example. So that would be 9:15 a.m. or 9:15 a.m. or 9:15 in the morning. And in 24-hour time, you would include the 0915 or 0915. Okay, so 24-hour time always has 2 numbers indicating the hours, and then obviously 2 numbers indicating the minutes. There are 4 examples there for you to work through. Give me the 24-hour time of the times you see on the screen. Off you go. Okay, guys, in these ones, you could have just read off the screen, or you might have known that 8 a.m. is 0800, and you can have the colon in between the hour and the minutes. That's not a problem. 20 past 5, if I add 12 to 5, I get 17, and I keep the same minutes, so 17:20. 4:10 a.m. is going to be 04:10, okay? And 6:40 p.m., if I add 12 to 6, I get 18, and that is 20 to 7 in the evening. Notice that I do not have to write any a.m. or p.m. afterwards, because the hours tell me if it's a.m. or p.m. I hope you guys remembered that concept that you would have been taught in previous grades. Right, the last time concept we're going to cover today is just time duration. So calculating the time duration between two times is a great skill to have for many reasons. And I've just put 4 examples on the screen for you. So first of all, you sometimes need to know how long you're going to wait for public transport. So it's a handy thing to know how to figure out how long you're going to wait. You might need to work out how to calculate the time difference between 2 cities or 2 countries. You might need to work out how long it took you to travel between 2 places. Or you might need to calculate how long you've been working on a job. So you might want to get paid the right amount. Okay? So I'm just going to ask you to go work out those 5 examples on the bottom of your screen. And then when I show you how to calculate the answer, hopefully you'll be able to pick up a couple of techniques that I use. But I'd first like you to go and work out those 5 time durations now. So they're the times on the screen. So this is the way I would like to work it out, and you guys are more than welcome to use your own method. So what I do is I go to 09:45. I work out that it's 15 minutes to the next hour. Okay? Then I go and I take 10 a.m. and I work out how many hours it is until the next hour. Okay? And that's 4 hours. Okay? And then I know I need to still include the 55 minutes. So I add the minutes together, 55 and 15, and that's going to give me 70 minutes, which is 1 hour and 10 minutes. And I need to add that to the 4 hours. So I know my time interval from 9:45 to 5 to 3 is going to be 5 hours and 10 minutes. Okay? So for question number 2, 2:45 p.m. to 7:15 p.m., I would say from 2:45 to 3 p.m. is 15 minutes. Okay? 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. is 4 hours. Okay, and then I need that additional 15 minutes because I'm going to 7:15 p.m. and then I can just add up the 15 and the 15. That gives me 30 minutes, and I've got the 4 hours, so the answer is 4 hours, 30 minutes. So you would have realized that I like to break it up to work out the answer. Okay, so that's 4 hours and 30 minutes. For question number 2. Put it in there. Okay, lekker. Right, question 3, 11:30 to 3:45. So you guessed it correctly. I'm going to go to 12 p.m. first. And that's going to give me 30 minutes. I'm then going to go from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Okay? And that's going to give me 3 hours. And then I need to include the 45 minutes. Okay, then I'm going to add the 30 minutes and the 45 minutes, which gives me 75 minutes. which is 1 hour and 15. And then I need to add the 1 hour and 15 to the 3 hours, and I get 4 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, number 4 I've already done for you on the screen. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say how many minutes is it from 11:45 to 11, and that's 15. Then I'm going to go from 11 till 2, that's 3 hours. And then I need to add the additional 15 minutes for 2:15. And if I put the minutes together and the hours together, I get 3 hours and 30 minutes. Okay, last question. Probably the most trickiest one. So 15:41 to 1600. So 19 minutes to 4 until 4 o'clock is going to give me 19 minutes. All right. 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock is going to give me an hour, so 60 minutes. And then I need to add the 52 minutes. Okay, so if I just add up all those minutes, 60 and 19 is 79. All right, if I add 52 to 79, I get 131 minutes. And that's going to give me 2 hours and 11 minutes. Okay, so that is your answer for question number 5. Guys, that brings us to our finisher for today, and that is the game of 24. And you know that you need to use each of the 4 numbers on each card and a combination of plus, minus, multiply, and divide to get to the answer of 24. It's a great way to improve your mental arithmetic, and I encourage you to see how many different ways you can come up with the answer of 24. Guys, this brings me on to a quote from Nelson Mandela, the godfather of the New South Africa. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can choose, or which you can use to change the world. And I encourage you to make the most of these free online lessons that WorksheetCloud are providing for you. The online activities and memo are a great way for you to consolidate information and stay on top of your education while we're in lockdown. So yeah, guys, I really encourage you to take hold of this opportunity that you are being given. Grade 7s, thanks very much for joining us today. I appreciate your time. I look forward to catching up with you in the next lesson, where we will continue with the concept of time. Have a great day, keep safe, and all the best.